After 17 games into the 2018 season, the Wichita State Shockers finally get their first game at home here at Wilkins Stadium. Welcome in, everybody. This is WSU TV. I'm Steve Strain, along with Jamie Hall, as we've got Wichita State Shocker softball this afternoon. It's the Shockers taking on the Razorbacks of Arkansas. The story today for this scheduled doubleheader is the weather. A very windy, blustery day. There you can see one of the flags here at Wilkins Stadium. Winds up over 30 miles an hour while the temperature is under 50. So the Shockers wait a month into the season, or actually a little bit more, to play their first home game, Jamie. But I think by the way Mother Nature is treating us today, they might have been better served to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, I looked at a glance at what Fayetteville, Arkansas was looking like the last 2 days, and I noticed they're seeing a lot of that wind too. So these two teams are going to be prepared for this kind of weather in the spring. Both of them being tested a little bit with that weather, distraction coming in. So hopefully they can both attest to that and see if we can have a good ball game today.
And I mentioned we're scheduled for 2 games today, but the word is the 2 coaches, Christy Breadbinner for Wichita State and Courtney Deifel for Arkansas, are going to decide after the first game if indeed we will play 2. So the second game is very much up in the air because of the conditions, so we will wait and see if that happens. Arkansas is off to a tremendous start to this season. 16-1 is their record. They are not ranked, but they are receiving votes in the polls. Wichita State is 9-8, but don't be fooled, Jamie, because this Shocker team, once again under Christy Breadbinner, has really stacked a very difficult non-conference schedule, including this one today.
Yeah, most definitely. You couldn't bring in a better home opener with 2 teams that are on fire right now. Both teams doing really, really well against really strong opponents so far this season. It's going to be a good one for the home opener today.
3:01 first pitch by Bailey Lang, the left-hander for Wichita State. And here we go. The left-hander Autumn Busick is in there for Arkansas, having a tremendous season, .431 with the average. As we're underway, 1 ball and no strikes, as Lang delivers another one away, and that is now 2 balls and no strikes. Lang making her 11th start of this season. 5-4 is the record, 3.14 the earned run average. But I think, Jamie, today the key is going to be which of these 2 teams can play small ball the best. We don't expect to see the ball traveling out of here, certainly not to left field today.
No, that wind is certainly coming in strong, heading right our direction toward the home plate area. So it's going to be a tough job for the outfielders to be managing what these balls look like as they go into the air. So it's going to be up to the hitters to really focus on getting the ball on the ground, and then really focusing on the defense to make the plays necessary, keep their eye on the ball, communicate, and make sure that the right person is going for every out.
If Lang's name sounds familiar, it's because she played in the Missouri Valley Conference up until last year. She spent the last 2 seasons at Northern Iowa, as the count is now 3 balls and a strike. Of course, she's transferred here to Wichita State in softball. You do not have to sit out a year unless you transfer within your conference. So she made the clean transfer to Wichita State, and a season later, she's a Shocker. And right here, she's worked the count full at 3-2.
Bailey Lang has done some really great things for the Shockers so far. In fact, just last week she earned a spot on the first American Athletic Conference softball honor roll, and has been doing well in the classroom as well. But she has been an awesome addition to this Wichita State lineup, coming in and starting the majority of the games for Wichita State and proving that she has a really good lefty arm.
She gives up a leadoff walk to Busick, and Busick is down at first base. Bailey Lang, 3.14 the earned run average with that 5-4 record. This is her 14th appearance overall on the season. I mentioned this is her 11th start as well. First pitch is strike to Hannah McEwen, 0-1. Lang has 5 complete games under her belt this season. She's pitched far and away more than any other Shocker pitcher this season. 51 1/3 innings coming into play today. Nobody else with more than 26.2. There's a strike, 0-2. So a better job here by Lang of getting ahead of McEwen, something she was unable to do to Busick. 0-2.
Yeah, leading into this game, Lang had that ratio of 55 strikeouts to 17 walks. So it's a very rare occurrence to do that, and it hurts doing it for the first batter of the game. Hopefully the Shockers can turn it around and see what they can do with, getting it out here.
That one way upstairs. Nice job by Madison Perrigan behind the plate. reaching up and snagging that one. That one almost got away. Keeps the runner at first. The 1-2 is Q-stick foul. That's Courtney Deifel, the coach of Arkansas, down at third base. Her assistant coach is Jordan Clark, who is over at first. Courtney Deifel in her third season at Arkansas. And her Razorbacks looking very good record-wise at 16-1 on the year. 1-2. And this one fouled and off the backstop, and the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. There you see Wilkins Stadium, and you can see the trees in the outfield, the flag, everything is moving. And the wind is out of the north, which certainly does not help. Just adds to what is a difficult day weather-wise. Look at Mckenzie Wright over at third, folding her arms just to keep them warm underneath her shoulders, as this one is pulled foul, and the count's 1-2. Fans bundled up in the stands. There's a look at Bailey Lang again. 46 career appearances at Northern Iowa. Had an even record, 11 wins and 11 losses as a Panther in 148 innings. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and the pitch took something off there, but that one stayed away. Counts even at 2-2. Hannah McEwen, a terrific season at the plate for Arkansas. .429 batting average, 5 homers, 29 runs batted in. Arkansas as a team, Jamie, .567 with the, or excuse me, that was their slugging percentage, which also is very nice, but .336, their team batting average, still pretty good.
Yeah, if you can be over 300 as a team, you're going to be tough to beat, and that definitely shows with their 16-1 record so far, having a 7-0 homestand so far out in Fayetteville. So they're a great team, and definitely been playing some great teams as well. So it shows in their record to be able to be such a good record leading into this game with the Shockers.
McEwen fouls one back. Look at the picture right here early in the game with runner at first and a full count against this good hitting Arkansas team. Wichita State struggled at the plate compared to Shocker teams we've seen in the past. A team average of .245. This one is fouled back again. Once again, they've played some very good pitching though to start the season. The likes of Washington, who at the time was ranked number 4. They beat Texas in Austin. Virginia Tech was also a nice win for this team. They started the season, Wichita State did, playing Auburn, who was at the time ranked number 13 in the nation. Another one fouled out of play. When you're a Shocker and you play for Christy Bredbender, Jamie, you don't get cheated in terms of playing tough games before conference.
No, you don't. She wants you to be fully ready, fully battle tested, and I think her coaching staff would agree 100%, and the team honestly would say the same. Coming into conference play with the teams like Arkansas or Washington and Auburn, man, you can't get a better schedule than that.
Bouncing ball to short. Lorianne Derrico, tough play there, and she can't get the runner out at second, and Busick is sliding in safely. So runners at first and second now for Arkansas with nobody out. So a bit of an ominous start here for Lang. And now the third batter of the game is Lauren Crisco, the center fielder. Christy Bredbender is heading down toward the bullpen. I'm not sure what she's doing there. They've had trouble before here with the gate blowing open down there, but I think it's the tarp is blowing around.
Yeah, it looks like the tarp's coming unwrapped a little bit. Got a couple players out there helping her out. That's actually the cover of the tarp must have blown off, so they're going to hide that behind the fence, hopefully, and keep it out of play here.
I was afraid that thing was going to start to blow off there when they held it up in the air. It's again, over 30-mile-an-hour winds today in Wichita, out of the north as well. It's scary when the wind speed is in that close a proximity to the temperature. Under 50 degrees, but over 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. You know, the spring, it brings all kinds of things, especially here in the Midwest, and you're ready as a softball player with an outdoor sport. You could get rain, snow, sleet. heavy winds. But the good news is that you get a lot of outdoor practice and you can kind of see what your team can do in those types of weather distractions. As I mentioned before, it's really who's going to be able to go against it. I actually spoke with head coach Christy Breadbinner before the game. She said, our team is pumped about this. They're ready to take it to Arkansas regardless of what the wind speeds are today.
This is Lauren Crisco at the plate for Arkansas, and she's got a 2-ball, 1-strike count. First and second. Nobody out here in the top of the first inning. They did, by the way, give Lorian Derrico an error over it short on that ground ball hit her way as it squirted on into shallow right field. Crisco sends this one. Well, she comes up empty, swings and misses, and it's 2-2. I thought momentarily she'd fouled that off, but it's even 2-2. That one close, but misses. The count's now full at 3-2. I mentioned Bailey Lang went to Northern Iowa. She was actually born in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Now an exercise science major here at Wichita State. Foul to the screen, 3-2 to Crisco. Ashley Diaz waits on deck. And that means this is a very big situation right here for Lang, looking at the cleanup hitter on deck with nobody out, Jamie.
Yeah, that'd be a tough place to be for a pitcher, especially in Lang's position with a few great hitters up to the plate. It's very important to get this next out. And honestly, the Shockers kind of have that as a goal on defense to make sure that, you get that first out before things get out of hand. And I'm sure, the defense is getting just a kind of a little bit of a standstill, being out there, having not made too many plays so far in the game. So it's just about keeping moving around and staying warm and ready for the next ball to you.
Full count pitch again as Lang delivers, and another one fouled back. So a good job here by Crisco of fighting him off and staying alive as the count remains full. Crisco from Barrington, Illinois. Just 5 feet 3 inches tall. She's a senior. And she takes away ball 4. So 2 of the first 3 walk for Arkansas. And they've got them loaded now with nobody out. And here comes Ryan Stefankowitz, his first trip out to the circle this season at Wilkins Stadium, as he's going to talk to his pitcher. So down to third goes Busick. McEwen now at second base. Crisco over at first. Nobody out here in the inning. And a dangerous situation for Bailey Lang now is the dangerous Ashley Diaz, who's hitting .400 on the year, will step up to the plate for Arkansas.
Diaz having 3 home runs so far in the season. That would certainly be a bad situation for Wichita State, giving up a big hit to a great hitter, as you mentioned, Steve, with a .400 average. I mean, she's definitely ranking up there in the top on the team with a great slugging percentage. I mean, she does a good job at the plate so far, also with 6 walks. So also another dangerous position that Bailey Lang is in with this hitter.
Nice job that time by Lang, working one inside. Diaz went around, and that's a strike, 0-1. Pat Lyon, Chad Spittler, and Jason Kemper are the 3 umpires today, by the way. 0-1. Popped up behind Perrigan and out of play. Good job, though, by Lang to work ahead in the count here. No balls and 2 strikes. Nothing in 2. A little liner over to first and snared there by Riley Buck, but everybody retrieves to their bags in time. But a big, big out, number 1.
That's a huge out for the Shockers, especially, Bailey Lang is battling in there. She's had a lot of great pitches, kind of painting the corners. That was a great spot against the dangerous Diaz. Now, I will say with Riley Buck, man, she's made some awesome plays at first base. It's really not common to see a lot of hard line drives down the first base line. But when you have an opportunity and you're over there and you're making big plays, I mean, that saved a few runs alone.
Yeah, if she is not there, Buck, that one is down the line and scores at least 2, possibly 3, as Ali Manzo steps in now. Manzo is the designated player for Arkansas today. She's seen 2 pitches, 1 of each, a ball and a strike. Arkansas's only loss of this season was February 25th to McNeese, and they lost that one 6-5. They have, other than that, been perfect. Line foul over the dugout on the third base side, 1-2. I mentioned that game 2 is pending because of this weather today. Well, Arkansas had the first 4 games of their season canceled. They were to play Kennesaw State, Nichols twice, and Southeastern Louisiana, but those 4 got canceled as there's a swing and a miss for a strikeout, and now back-to-back outs for Bailey Lang. So a really good job by her to get 2 in a row. Now if she can retire A.J. Beelens.
It's a great job by Lang getting Manzo there. I mean, Manzo's got a great average right now. Only 13 at-bats on the season, but a .538 average with that. 7 hits. I mean, she was certainly a huge out for the Shockers in that situation.
Beelens takes the first pitch for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Lang delivers. This one sent foul over toward the first base side, and it's out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. There is a very familiar team that Arkansas has beaten on their schedule this season already, Jamie, and that would be none other than Missouri State on February 28th. They run-ruled Missouri State 9-0. Shockers are going to see some of their friends from the Missouri Valley, or at least Missouri State, this season. I know Christy Bredbender wanted to keep that alive as a non-conference game, and the teams will do that.
They'll also see that former Missouri Valley member in Creighton a little bit later in the season as well. So you're right, they're going to be seeing some at least familiar teams. I'm sure some of the players have changed since then, but certainly some old foes that they've had in the past years.
Driven to left. This one's not going to go far. Derrico backs up and makes the catch. And after they were loaded with nobody out, how about Bailey Lang? She gets him down to 1, 2, 3 after that. Arkansas leaves them full. Shockers coming up next. You're watching Shocker Softball on WSU TV.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978.
A lot of help
or
on
visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Welcome back to Wilkins Stadium. What a job by Bailey Lang of Wichita State. Had him loaded with nobody out. She walked 2 of the first 3, but then got a line out for the first out, a strikeout, then a fly out to short, and just like that, Wichita State's up. We're tied 0-0. There's the Shocker lineup that you'll see today. Bailey Lang will bat. She's been doing that for Wichita State this season. We haven't seen pitchers for this team batting in a while, but Lang is one of them. And we may see Paige Llewellyn. She is hitting cleanup. We may see her in the first inning, I mean. If not, we'll certainly see her right out of the gate in the second. What a season she is off to, batting well above 400 on the season. Yeah,
as you can see, she's already got 6 RBIs. She's only 10 shy to take the first position in the individual career records here at Wichita State. I mean, she has come back swinging hard. She had a minor injury at the beginning of the year that kind of kept her out a little bit. Came back strong. She's one of those players, I think, that what's going to differentiate her from her junior year to her senior year is her drive. She is ready to go. She wants to have the best season that she's ever had as a Shocker.
Mckenzie Wright is in there now, Shocker's senior third baseman. Has a count of 0-1. The hits will be very tough to come by. There's a check swing, and Wright did not go. Mary Half is the starting pitcher for Arkansas, who has been tremendous this season. 9-0 is her record, Jamie, with an earned run average of .5. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, with who they're facing, too, I mean, that says a lot about Half's potential and her overall just drive on the mound. I mean, she's definitely got a presence so far. You can tell she's getting ahead of hitters so far with the first one in Wright. As you mentioned, having such a great ERA with a 9-0 record. I mean, she's looking like one of those players that could certainly take Arkansas deep into the season.
A ball and 2 strikes. As this one comes up tight. And you think SEC coaches and hitters are a little concerned. Mary Half is just a freshman. Had a pretty bright future, I'd say. So does this team with her inside the circle. 2-2 the count to Mckenzie Wright. 250 on the year for Mckenzie. No homers. No runs batted in. Sends this one foul.
We talked about Lang earlier for Wichita State, just her ratio from strikeouts to balls and walks. And you've got for Half 90 strikeouts to her 7 walks on the season. Now that's a lot of accuracy. And as you mentioned, Steve, being a freshman, that's very impressive to come in and go at hitters at such a young and kind of first year experience.
Diving in right field is McEwen. She moves forward, and does she make the catch? She does. What a play by Hannah McEwen. Well, it's not always Half in the circle, but it looks like she can get some help behind her as well. How about this catch?
This is a fantastic play that we always talk about in outfield as your first step is so important, and she knew for a fact with this wind, it's not going over your head. And so she ran straight up on that ball, made a nice diving catch for Arkansas.
Boy, it's hard enough to get hits off of Half as it is. Then when you've got players making plays defensively like that, that's got to be frustrating for a hitter as Riley Buck steps in now. The wind is really howling now out of the north. That flagpole in left is shaking a little bit. 0-1 to Buck. And the pitch a little bit upstairs, 1-1. Buck 341 on the season with a homer and 6 runs batted in. I mentioned Wichita State, Jamie, just 245 with the collective batting average. And you wonder if Christy Bredbenner is concerned about that, or if she's taken into consideration the level of competition and the pitching, and she's been okay with it. First of all, there's a look at that flag out in left field, and I don't know if you can tell from that vantage point or not, but that pole there, you see it shaking back and forth. I'd be a little nervous if I was out in left field right now.
Yeah, that thing could tip over, it looks like, from here. Man, I swear, the wind has never changed. I grew up, in Dallas, Texas. Coming to Wichita, I'd say the biggest adjustment when people ask me about the weather is the wind. It's not even the cold, it's not the snow. It's absolutely the wind is so different here in the state of Kansas.
1-1 the count to Buck. But getting back to the point about this Shocker team offense at 245, Coach Bredbenner concerned, or is she taking it with a grain of salt, considering some of the pitchers like Half that this team has seen so far this season?
You've got a lot of youth in the Shocker lineup. Buck struggled last year, is now in the 2-hole. She's come in and done some great things at the plate. You've got, when you look down the lineup, you've got senior, sophomore, junior, senior, freshman, sophomore. You've got a lot of freshmen, sophomores, and juniors in this lineup that are kind of adjusting to a new opportunity, and that is a very tough schedule that was planned out for the Shockers in the preseason. But when you look at their last opportunity against Nebraska, they certainly turned that around. They had a lot of runs against Nebraska this past weekend at Lincoln, and they came out with an 8-0 run roll actually on Sunday. So they're turning their bats around, they're making adjustments, and that's what it's all about as a young team.
And again, it might not be easy to get the hits today. Buck a strikeout victim. Here's Lorianne Derrico sending one out into shallow center field, and it's going to be snared by Bugarin as the wind blows that one around. About 4 different players had it, and finally it blew to just into shallow right center. So the Shockers go in order. We've played one, scoreless from Wilkins Stadium. Well, the two teams are scoreless after one. Arkansas threatened. They had them loaded with nobody out, didn't score. It was a much different story for Wichita State. They win in order in the first inning, but the scoreboard almost identical. No runs and a hit for each team. Wichita State does have an error. There's the starting lineup for Arkansas. Didn't get a chance to put it up in the top of the first, but I really like, Jamie, what Courtney Deifel for Arkansas, the head coach, has done down at the 9 spot. We're going to see Heidi Bugarin this inning, batting 9th, but hitting .340, so she's really put a strong hitter down there in that bottom spot.
Yeah, that's not the typical average you see in a 9-hole hitter, but when you have an opportunity of getting on base before the top of your lineup comes back up, that's huge opportunities for the Arkansas lineup.
It's Tori Cooper that's up there now. Left-handed batter with a 1-ball, no-strike count. She rips one into center field. That's going to get down, and that'll be a base hit. So Arkansas has had their leadoff batter aboard in each inning. That's the first base hit of the game, and it's Tori Cooper with a leadoff single. And that'll bring up Lauren Archuleta, the catcher. So Cooper at first. Here's Archuleta, and this is also critical because Bugarin is on deck batting .340 at the 9 spot. So critical that you try to get Cooper and Archuleta retired, and that obviously hasn't happened already with Cooper on at first.
Archuleta actually having her first start today, only with 1 at bat recorded. So certainly someone that's kind of a question mark, I'm sure, for the Shocker, just kind of a game plan against this lineup. You're certainly going to see kind of a wild card thrown in here with Archuleta and knowing exactly what to expect. But in this situation, you may almost always see a bunt attempt, knowing that there's an opportunity to move the runner to second.
And again, with the conditions, this game might be won today by who plays the best small ball. That one not buntable. The count's 2 balls and a strike to Archuleta. Scoreless, top of the second inning. Archuleta was a late addition to the lineup today for Arkansas. We were handed the lineups quite a while before the first pitch as she fouls one off, and she was not in there, and then not long before the first pitch she was implemented in. Counts 2 balls and 2 strikes. Archuleta has only had 1 plate appearance this season, so she's 0 for 1. Junior out of Rockwall, Texas. As this one gets away from Perrigan, and down to second base goes Cooper. So Arkansas now with a runner at second. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes at the plate.
Looks like Bailey Lang may have hit her hip here. Coming around, that's definitely a common kind of mistake for a pitcher. She released it actually a little early, it looks like. Something you don't see every day, but certainly an issue that every pitcher has probably experienced in their time on the mound.
Soft bouncer to Derrico, doesn't field it cleanly initially, and the throw to first is late. Boy, I thought Derrico still had that throw in time, but safe at first base is Archuleta, and that might well then be the second error of the game on Derrico. Let's look again, though. It looked live like the throw might still have been in time. Here it is. No, good call. First and second for Arkansas. And Lori Derrico now with presumably 2 errors in the game. Bugarin takes a ball 1-0. So once again, in the first inning, Jamie, it was first and second. Nobody out, and Bailey Lang gave up a walk. Here we are again, first and second with a dangerous hitter up there. You can only flirt with fire so many times before it starts to burn you. So it's a big at bat right here early in the game. And I think that's the reason Perrigan just came out from behind the dish.
Now, this is definitely when it's important as a pitcher to kind of take a deep breath and kind of refocus on what you're trying to do, get those ground balls, as you mentioned, and have your defense really help you out here.
Speaking of, there's one to second, but the only play Hecker has is to first, and everybody will move up. So Bugarin is retired 4-3. Cooper to third, Archuleta to second. We'll go to the top of the order with Autumn Busick.
This ball did a little tip off of Bailey Lang's glove. She was attempting to make the stop there and just kind of slowed it down a little for Hecker. And great job at, just making that adjustment and ensuring that the ball is going to come directly to you for the easy out at 1. Now it's just a matter of Bailey Lang to kind of bounce back and get a few more here.
Busick, a .431 hitter, showing bunt there, and then pulls back for a strike, nothing at 1. She walked to start the game. Again, Arkansas had 2 walks. Sandwiched in between those A fielder's choice by Hannah McEwen. They had him loaded in the first with nobody out, and then went 1, 2, 3 after that. Didn't get anybody home. Here, Busick is down in the count, 0-2. And that's already an improvement for Lang, Jamie, who was behind Busick the entire first at bat Busick had, but here she's ahead 0-2. And there's strike 3. What a job working the outer edge. And down goes Busick, caught looking. And that's the second strike out of the game for Bailey Lang, and another big one.
As you mentioned, Steve, she's playing with fire a little bit, and then she comes back in and comes up with a huge out. Hannah McEwen has been hot lately, had a fantastic weekend at the Madera Beach Invitational, 579 average. I mean, she has been on fire for Arkansas, so what a huge out for the defense of the Shockers.
McEwen chops one foul over toward first, 0-1. McEwen had that great defensive play in the bottom of the first inning. She dove in towards second base from right field and snared a Mckenzie Wright fly ball. Off speed here, in there for a strike. And something has lit a fire under Bailey Lang as she is throwing strikes right now. Not necessarily throwing hard, but throwing accurately.
Yeah, no 2 count is exactly what Bailey Lang needs right here. Now she can kind of do whatever pitching she wants to do and hopefully keep it far and out of the zone, which is exactly what she did. Great job.
2 more stranded in scoring position, and Arkansas has now stranded 5, and Bailey Lang pulls another Houdini act. We've played 1.5, still scoreless from Wilkins Stadium.
Wow.
Welcome back to Wilkins Stadium, where Arkansas and Wichita State scoreless. Shockers with 2 errors. And Bailey Lang has had a couple of rocky innings, but to her credit, when her back has been to the wall, she's responded. And Wichita State will come up scoreless, but so is Arkansas here in the bottom of the second inning. Shockers, after so many road games, by the way, are going to get 6 straight here at Wilkins Stadium between now and Sunday afternoon. They'll have a doubleheader both Saturday and Sunday here this weekend as they invite a few different teams in, but Wichita State's going to play 4 after they get into 1 or 2 games today. So here is the red-hot Paige Llewellyn with that .417 batting average, taking a strike, and it's 0-1. .417 at homer, 6 runs batted in. Paige off to a monster senior season for Wichita State. Up there from the right side. And it's upstairs. Doing exactly what you would, Jamie, expect a senior to do, especially to start her season. And especially, as you pointed out, with so many young bats around her, you need that senior like Llewellyn to show the way, and she's certainly done that.
She did an awesome job in Lincoln this past weekend, coming up with a .600 batting average. I mean, she was on fire. I actually had the privilege of going down to Lincoln and watching the Shockers play there, and she just has the leadership and the drive that isn't just in the dugout, but you can see it when she's on the field, when she's talking it up. She's certainly someone that's going to be doing a lot of big things in her senior season.
Sends this one foul, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. You know, throughout her career here, she is one that has really been prone to walk an awful lot, and you start to wonder the way the other bats have not gotten going, if that's something pitchers might start to do more throughout the season. 1-2. And she takes to even the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. She's only walked 3 times this season. She keeps hitting well above 400. That might start to change, you'd think. But again, you know, some of the pitchers that this team has faced, like this one today, they want a challenger. We've got a pretty good battle right here. It's full at 3-2. Great pitcher, great hitter, as that one just missed.
Yeah, Half definitely wanted this call, and I completely understand why against a hitter like Llewellyn. You'll take anything you can get for a called strike. Nice pitch by Half.
Full count offering. Fouled back and out of play.
You know, I mentioned earlier that Paige Llewellyn only needs 10 RBIs to be in the first position for the career record here on campus at WSU. Who's in front? That's Casey Williams. She's the current director of operations here for the staff at WSU. Had an awesome career here at Wichita State, but you know, you're talking about Paige Llewellyn being comparable to that. She definitely has some room to be a great, awesome addition here.
Swing and a miss there. She has missed 9 games, the last 9 with an injury, but Shockers, I know, glad to have her back in the lineup, although here she comes up empty, and here's a look at why.
It's a great pitch by Half. She put it right where she wanted it. You could tell the setup of the catcher had her right where she needed to go, and hitting your spot sometimes can be the best possible way of getting some really strong hitters out.
Second strikeout of the game for Half is Caitlin Bingham is in there now. Mary Half, Jamie, came into the game having struck out 90 batters this season. You touched on that earlier, but that's just unreal for 17 games into the season, and for her having pitched in 56 innings.
Yeah, 2 times this season so far. She's actually been named the SEC Freshman of the Week, so she has proven her stuff. She's consistent. She's one of those players that you can certainly count on to bring her A game every day.
Bingham takes, and the count's 2 balls and a strike to the Shocker designated player, Caitlin Bingham. She's hitting for Kaylee Hecker, the second baseman. 2 balls and a strike. And there's one in there, and it's even now 2-2. Here's a look at it again as Bingham was taking all the way, maybe thinking that one was a little low, but it looked like it caught the knees. And there's a swing and a miss, and down goes Bingham, and it's 2 up, 2 down, both via the strikeout for Mary Half this inning.
This is when it's going to be really important for the offense of Wichita State to shorten up a little bit, try to put a bat on the ball. You know, you've got enough strikeouts at this point that the teammates are probably talking a little bit more about kind of what the stuff is of Half. So really focusing on putting a bat on the ball and cutting out the strikeout as much as possible. Really make this Arkansas defense work a little bit.
Madison Perrigan now will get her first look. Takes away 1-0. You brought up a very important term, I think, today, too, and that's shorten up, Jamie. It's not like you're going to send anything over the left field fence probably anyway today. You might as well just focus on making solid contact and slapping one somewhere. Out of play, 1-1. Christy Bredbenner is coaching for Wichita State down at third. Ryan Stefankowitz is over at first base, by the way. There's Perrigan's numbers on the year. Her 10 runs batted in, by the way, leads the team. As she takes a strike, and it's 1-2. Nobody else was with more than 6 runs batted in for Wichita State. Llewellyn, Riley Buck, Derrico, Bailey Nickerson, all with 6, but it's Perrigan the next and tops on the team with 10 as she strikes this one pretty well to center field, back and gone. As Madison Perrigan sends one to center, and Wichita State grabbed a 1-0 lead. Well, they might not go out to left, but that one went to center. And here it is again to give the Shockers the 1-run lead.
Well, so much for shortening up, Steve. I think we have put our foots in our mouths a little bit because Madison Paragon, wow, enough power to fight against this 30-mile-an-hour wind coming in, and she's pumped. Look at her, getting her team excited. Although they've had the strikeouts leading up to this at-bat, it's a whole new ball game now. It's a whole new atmosphere for this offense at Wichita State.
Second home run of the season for Paragon, and now Asia Weber steps in. First pitch swinging. Look at the wind playing with this one as it spins foul. That one looked like it started a few feet up the third baseline in foul territory, and it landed over near the left-handed batter's box.
That's fantastic effort by Archuleta behind the plate for Arkansas. I mean, that wind is a battle, and we've been talking about it enough already, but it shows its ugly face when you hit a pop fly in the air high enough that you've got 3 or 4 fielders coming in on it, and Archuleta does her very best to attempt to make the diving catch.
Look where she goes, up the third baseline, toward the on-deck circle to be more accurate, then look where it lands. That is something. Nothing in one. And that one is low. Nobody on, runner in for Wichita State, and here comes the pitch. And that one's upstairs, maybe a little bit tight as well. They've got 3 balls and no strikes is now the count. So the foul ball apparently was an illegal pitch. So it's 3-0. So wipe that away, and there's ball 4. So down to first base goes Weber. So she got the benefit of an illegal pitch that helped out, and Asia Weber down at first base.
Weber has been having some great at-bats, too. Out in Lincoln, she was definitely somebody that you could count on to come up with an opportunity, whether that be a walk, putting a bunt down, or even coming up with a big hit. She hit one off the fence, turns around and hits one over the fence at her next at-bat. Certainly some power and an opportunity for Wichita State in the meat of the lineup.
Bailey Nickerson takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Boy, Mary Half was cruising through this bottom of the second inning. Strikeout. Then Madison Paragon, a solo homer to center. Now a walk to Asia Weber. This one is lifted to left field. And moving over is Cooper and in to make the catch, and that'll do it. But the Shockers get the home run. They get the lead. Madison Paragon with the home run stroke. Hers to center field lifts Wichita to a 1-0 lead as Paragon knew it from the time she struck it. Shockers on top.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Bailey Lang now center circle with a lead. Wichita State on top of Arkansas by the score of 1-0. Steve Strain, Jamie Hull with you on a windy Tuesday afternoon, a day we have 2 games scheduled, but that is in doubt because of the weather. The coaches are going to meet after the game, if you missed it earlier, and determine if they want to play a second or not today. The first pitch here to Lauren Crisco is taken for a strike, 0-1. Crisco, Ashley Diaz, Ali Manzo, 3, 4, and 5 for the Razorbacks here in the inning. And there's a strike, and it's 0-2. And Jamie, I think this is a big inning for Bailey Lang. You know, you talk about shutdown innings after your offense has given you the lead. That's exactly what Wichita State did, albeit just a 1-0 lead, but especially with the struggles as she takes one off here, pulls the string, and gets the strikeout. That's her 4th of the game. Good start this inning. And I'll finish that thought in a moment, but watch how she freezes Crisco right here, really taking something off of this pitch. And Crisco just frozen right there in the box.
Yeah, Bailey Lang, man, taking something off of that. Now, like you were saying, Steve, if she can stay on her game here, her offense is going to be really happy with that. And the opportunity with 2 strikes coming back with a changeup, she certainly had Crisco frozen, and that's exactly what you want to do with a pitch of that caliber.
No balls and a strike to Diaz. And now the count's even. Getting back to finish that thought, though, not only do you like the shutdown inning because your offense has now given you the lead, but because of the struggles she had in the first 2 innings, it sure would be nice, I'm sure, for Lang to go out and have a relaxing 1-2-3 here instead of some of the heartache she had the first couple of innings. She escaped, but still a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, Crisco was one of her walks, you know, in the first inning, and so when you can come back and turn around and get a hitter on 3 strikes that you actually struggled with and walked in the first inning, that shows a lot of character in Lang as a pitcher to come back and fight back for that out.
Slicing right field, foul ball. Not by much. Paige Llewellyn will retrieve it in the corner, but that one landed just foul and trickled down into the corner. So the count is even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's one where the wind also is going to help the defense, because that one was already slicing, and then the wind probably helped push that one a little bit farther toward foul territory, which it eventually landed in. This one bounces in. Perrigan tries to block it. Three balls and 2 strikes. Lang trying to get 2 up and 2 down here. And it's going to be a hot shot to Derrico near the bag at second. Nice play, but the throw a little bit wide of the bag over at first. That'll be a base hit. Well, Lori Derrico did all she could right there, diving to her left. That's just a tough play. Diaz is on with a 1-out infield base hit.
It's a good angle by Derrico. I mean, she came up with the ball, just a matter of being able to get up and make the throw, and she certainly made the attempt. It looks like, you know, Diaz had enough speed going down the line that she was going to be there, but it was a fantastic effort and good job by Derrico at short.
So Ali Manzo will step up now. And Manzo will take the first pitch. Bailey Lang is approaching a milestone, by the way. She just needs 5 more strikeouts for 200 in her career. She's already got 4 strikeouts today, as this one is sent foul, and it's 1-1 to Manzo. Lang had a strikeout in the first inning, struck out back-to-back batters in the second, and then the 3rd inning caught looking here to Lauren Crisco to start things off. Bouncing ball, Derrico, another chance. This could be 2. Steps on the bag for 1, and Buck couldn't hang on over at first base. Well, it looked like Riley Buck had the stretch there. It was within reach to keep her foot on the bag. She maybe just didn't squeeze it into the glove, but it looked like a very makeable 6-3 double play.
Yeah, this was a nice backup by Derrico to come back from, you know, the opportunity of the last hitter, and looks like it just took her away a little bit toward home plate with the throw, but definitely an opportunity at least for getting that lead out with 2 outs now for the Shockers.
So Manzo is on at first with 2 outs, and here's now the next batter, A.J. Balans. First pitch to Balans, 0-1. And I think they've charged Riley Buck with an error over at first base. And again, it did look like one that probably should have been caught. It was a little bit to the inside of the bag, Jamie, but again, looked like Buck could have squeezed that one in. This one to third, right there. Easy play, 5-3, fires it across, side retired. And there is the easy inning for Bailey Lang. Arkansas does get one on board that they leave, but after 2.5, Wichita State's got the lead. Shockers 1, Razorbacks 0 on WSU TV.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Bottom of the third now from Wilkins Stadium. Wichita State on top 1-0. Shockers will send their pitcher Bailey Lang up first. She's the number 9 hitter for the Shockers. Then back to the top of the order with Mckenzie Wright and Riley Buck. So 9, 1, and 2 for Wichita State as Lang is about to step in from the left side. And Lang shows bunt right there. Half sends one that just misses. 1 ball and no strikes. Lang at 176 on the season, a homer and 4 runs batted in. Bunts this one, it's going to spin foul.
Lang has struggled a little bit at the plate. You know, she's a very athletic kid and does a really, really good job both hitting and pitching. Had a really, really strong start to the season and has struggled a little bit here at the bottom of the lineup for the Shockers. But you'll notice, and as you mentioned earlier, Steve, that the Shockers for Wichita State, their pitchers tend to hit. In fact, their DP today, and Caitlin Bingham, is in fact a pitcher. So they have a very athletic pitching squad that are able to do really both sides of both defense and offense for them.
Lang takes there, and it's 1 and 2. And as I stated earlier, it's not something the Shockers have had in a while. Jenny Brooks and Katie Malone, such great careers inside the circle for Wichita State, but neither of them hit. At least not on a regular basis, maybe early in their careers, but
yeah, a little known fact is Jenny Brooks actually was a pretty good hitter. In fact, the coaching staff kind of joked about that a little bit. She came down to watch the series at Lincoln and support Katie Malone, who's actually a graduate assistant there for Nebraska now. So they talked about her at practice, and she could swing it a little bit. But they really wanted her to focus on pitching, and that makes complete sense. And I don't believe Katie Malone ever had an at-bat. I'm sure she'll let me know if I'm wrong on that. But certainly 2 missing pieces to the Shocker pitching staff now that Lang has come in and certainly done a good job, hopefully, to fill those shoes.
counts even here, 2 and 2. And it looked like Half took something off. Good job by Lang to stay alive. And the count remains even at 2 and 2. Well, I don't know about how much warmer it's gotten out, but we are starting to see the clouds part a little bit. Looks like I see a little bit more blue sky than maybe we saw at the start of the game.
Hey, we'll take all we can get.
That's right. Liner, left center. This one's down. It's going to roll for a while. And how about this? Lang is motoring to second with a leadoff double. That's going to be her first double of the season, and Bailey Lang is on at second base.
Looked like Arkansas's defense wasn't exactly ready for this. They're playing up, as you can tell there on the screen, and that took them all the way to the wall. As I mentioned, you know, Bailey Lang's got some power. She's an athletic pitcher, and she certainly can do some dangerous things at the plate, as we just saw there.
She's got a home run this season. That, though, her first double, and there she is at second. And we talked about Arkansas, who has Heidi Bugarin down at the bottom of the lineup. Well, now the Shockers have their number 9 hitter aboard to start the inning, and Mckenzie Wright's going to move her down to third. As Wright gets the sacrifice executed, and down to third indeed goes Lang. So 1 out, but a runner down at third for Wichita State, and here's Riley Buck now. Buck was the first strikeout victim against Mary Half back in the bottom of the first inning. And she takes here, it's a ball, 1-0.
Riley's looking to pick up her 7th RBI on the season, again coming up strong from a season that she struggled a little bit last year. And man, she has stepped into this number 2 role like it's been something that's like fits like an old glove. Looking to really make a difference here for the Shocker offense.
Had a big rip right there and comes up empty. 1 ball and 1 strike. Buck, one of 3 strikeout victims for Half on the afternoon. Paige Llewellyn and Caitlin Bingham back-to-back strikeout victims in the second inning. Those two came right before Madison Paragon's solo homer to center in the second, representing the only run in the game. 2 balls and a strike, the count here to Riley Buck. Buck's .341 average, second on the team. That one gets away. Two and two, the count's even. Runner at third, one away. In tight did she go. They will appeal. She did not. Here's another look. We'll see where that bat was in relation to the plane of the plate. Kind of hard to tell from center field, but I think the right call was made.
Yeah, it looked like Buck had fast enough hands. She was able to sling it back and make a separate decision. Unfortunately, they're going down, swinging on a great pitch from half. Again, that's now her 94th strikeout on the season. Failed to mention earlier, too, that she's actually tied for 10th in the NCAA with the 90 that she had coming into this game. So it's no surprise that she's had a few of those today. Certainly something that the Shockers need to eliminate if they're going to look to score a few more runs tonight.
That was a big one right there with a runner at third to get the second out of the inning. Now can Lori Derrico bring Lang home from third, Jamie? The Shockers would hate to waste a leadoff double from their number 9 hitter, who is standing down at third base right now. One ball and no strikes. And that'll even the count. Strike taken. I mentioned the Shockers will be home this weekend. They've got Missouri State and Western Illinois coming in, and they'll take on each of those teams Saturday and Sunday. A little bit in tight for a ball, 2-1. Shockers will take on Missouri State Saturday at 2:30. They'll follow that game with Western Illinois. Then they'll flip-flop and play Western Illinois first Sunday at 1:30 and wrap it up with Missouri State at 4. Then it's right back out to the road. Counts even here, 2-2. Iowa, Creighton, and Omaha, the next 3 opponents for Wichita State the following weekend. Is this one is going to be lifted into center field, and Crisco is there, and she'll make the catch. Side retired. So Arkansas stranded 5 early in the game, and the Shockers leave a potential valuable runner over at third, who is there with just 1 away. We'll go to the 4th, 1-0 Wichita State on WSU TV. Well, we thought between the caliber of pitchers and the weather that we might see a low-scoring game, and that's what you've gotten so far. Each team with 2 hits. The only run of the game, a Madison Paragon second inning solo homer to center field. Wichita State's got the lead. Arkansas about to come up and get their 4th look at Bailey Lang, and it'll be Tori Cooper that'll step up to the plate first. Cooper has 1 of those 2 Arkansas hits. As he takes a Lang strike here, 0-1. Cooper single to lead off the second inning. Bounces one up toward the middle here. Derrico to her left, gloves it, deflects it, but that's going to be what probably will be a base hit for Cooper, and she is on for the second time in as many tries. Well, all Derrico could do there was get the very edge of her glove on this one, it looked like, and deflected it actually over to Hecker, but no throw to first, and a runner is on at first.
Yeah, looked like Cooper just got that right off the tail end of her bat. Great pitch from Lang. And unfortunately, Derrico has been tested over there at shortstop today, so hopefully she could pick up a few outs here for her Shocker team. It looks like there might be a few more heading her way as Lang continues to work the inside corner for righties and the outside for lefties.
Archuleta shows bunt there and then pulls back, 0-1. Offers again, Wright is going to throw to first base. That one got to Mckenzie so quickly for a second. I wondered if she might look over at second, but she played it safe. Probably the smartest route. And 5-3 on the sacrifice. So Cooper's at second now, one away, and up to the plate will step Heidi Bugarin. Bugarin grounded out to second, and look out, this one comes in tight. And did that hit her bat or did that hit her helmet? I heard it hit something hard. She went down to the ground. And she is shaken up. Trainer is out, so is Courtney Dyfel, and they're taking a look at Heidi Bugarin as that one came in tight. That must have got her on the helmet. We are right behind home plate, and the home plate umpire actually was blocking our view by just a little bit. That's why it was tough to tell from back here, but she is apparently okay. We'll get another look. Yeah, right above the ear hole.
Yeah, that can be pretty scary as a hitter. Really glad that she's able to make the walk down to first base. Looks like it just got away from Lang, a little too inside, obviously. And really, as I mentioned, just a scary thing as a hitter, so hopefully she's okay.
Third hit batter of the season for Bailey Lang, and now 54 and 2/3 innings, but Bugarin appears to be okay, and she's down at first. So there was trouble for Lang in the first and second innings. Relatively no trouble in the third, but here in the fourth, a little bit of a situation now for Wichita State as Arkansas's got first and second, one away. And also, Lang's got to contend with the top of the order with Autumn Busick back up there now. Swing and a miss there. Lang needed that, 0-1. Busick is 0 for 1. She walked to start the game, then struck out looking in the second inning. Lefty versus lefty matchup here, and this one away, 1-1.
Busick is one of those players that started all 55 games in 2017 for this Arkansas squad. Definitely looking for her leadership here in the offensive position for her team, having 2 runners on at a critical moment for their program.
High bouncing ball behind the bag at second, and not getting there in time is Hecker. And it'll be first and third with a runner at second as well. They're loaded for Arkansas as Hecker went to her right there and just couldn't come up with it in time. Another well-placed one, as Arkansas has done this a few times now, Jamie, right up the middle, right around that bag. So Cooper to third, it's Bugarin to second. As Busick gets the infield hit, they're loaded for Hannah McEwen. Outside for a ball. Of course, Arkansas had them loaded with nobody out in the first inning. But Bailey Lang was able to escape after a line out, a strikeout, and a flyout. She's going to need similar success here. Liner to third, snared by Wright. They've got to play at second, and a double play. And Wichita State's done it again. How about the reaction from Mckenzie Wright over at third? A snow cone catch liner, and then they double up the runner Bugarin over at second base. We'll go to the break and look at Mckenzie Wright. Flash in the leather. Wichita State comes up in the bottom of the fourth. They've got a one-run lead. Wichita State leading 1-0, but it could have been very different had it not been for Mckenzie Wright. Look at the quick reflexes there, the catch, and then the throw to second base for a 5-4 double play that gets Wichita State out of a bit of a jam. And now Paige Llewellyn just misses down the third baseline.
Head coach Christy Bredbender has been quoted as saying that Mckenzie Wright is the best third baseman that she has ever watched play softball. And that play right there just goes to show you that it's good to have her on your team defensively. She has certainly made some of the best plays here at Wilkins Stadium and even on the road too. She's an awesome asset to this defense for Wichita State.
No balls and 2 strikes to Llewellyn. And Paige a swing and a miss, and down she goes. Paige Llewellyn is 0 for 2, and she is struck out twice swinging. So here's Caitlin Bingham. Well, Mckenzie Wright, it's interesting, started off her career as a catcher. She sure has those reflexes down at the hot corner. We've seen her make a number of plays like that throughout her career, and that was a big one in this game. At least it appears that way right now as the first pitch taken to Bingham. 1 ball and no strikes. I'm just waiting for Mckenzie to break out with the face paint. The eye black.
Yeah, that's kind of her go-to.
Yeah.
Like, look out here.
Probably going to be a while. Not going to happen today. Maybe not this weekend. Haven't seen the forecast, but she looks rather imposing down there.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
She looks very intimidating with that look. That's for sure.
2-0 to Bingham. Caitlin struck out back in the second inning, and she's going to hit a little soft grounder towards short here, and Busick is there, and she can't make a play. Busick charged in, cut off the shortstop Belands, and then tried to make that play between the circle and short, but just couldn't glove it cleanly, and over at first base is Caitlin Bingham. So the Shockers now, with 1 out, have a runner at first base. Madison Paragon's about to step up. First, Christy Bredbender's gone to the umpire. She may be getting a courtesy runner here. We shall see. Don't think she's going to pinch hit for Madison Paragon, so it is indeed a courtesy runner over at first.
Speaking of Christy Bredbender coming up with her 500th win recently, so certainly a huge accomplishment for a head coach. An opportunity for Wichita State to be a part of a program that's got an awesome staff led by somebody who has a lot of experience in the wins column.
Indeed, it's Kaylee Hecker that's going into run for Wichita State over at first base, and Arkansas is going to the bullpen. Autumn Storms has come in from the bullpen, and she has relieved Mary Half. So Half, who has not lost this season, leaves the game with her team trailing 1-0. So that's interesting, as Storms will get some warm-up tosses in. Storms has pitched in 10 games this season, just 2 of them in relief. So this is just her 3rd relief appearance, 43 innings on the season. And there you see some of the numbers. 6-1 record, 2.12 ERA. Jamie, something we haven't talked about. Half gets so much attention for her .5 earned run average. This Arkansas staff in general, 1.5, their collective ERA.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference when you have the opportunity both on the mound and at the plate. I mean, this team is doing everything it takes to win ball games, and that it goes to explaining their 16-1 record against some great teams. When you've got a staff with Half and Storms, so far it really looks like they can take Arkansas a long way by providing the opportunity to really keep batters off base, and that's a great thing to have for a defense.
So here's Perrigan now, who's got the only run batted into the game, that second inning home run, as she will face Storms. And the pitch is low and inside for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Storms has walked 9 and struck out 42 on the season. This one is outside. I talked about the blue sky. We were starting to see more and more of it. Now we see a bunch of blue sky. Again, inside here in the press box behind home plate. I'm not sure how much it's warmed up out there. It's still really windy, but at least not as cloudy as it was earlier. This one is low, 3 balls and no strikes. And there you can see just from the shadows that we've got plenty of sunshine now, but you can also see from the fans bundled up behind the plate that it's still rather chilly and windy. The 3-0 taken for a strike, 3-1. Perrigan's homer to center field was her second home run of the season. You could tell from the wide angle too that she really had everybody fooled, as Crisco in center was playing very, very shallow. Good job by Storms to work the count now full. It's 3-2.
Storm's last outing was actually against the Central Connecticut State team just this past weekend, coming up with a no-hitter and a career high of 9 strikeouts. So she's coming from a high and looking to do the same against the Shocker team.
Liner up the middle. That'll be a base hit. Stopping at second base is Bingham, and Wichita State's now got something cooking here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Already up 1-0. They've got him at first and second with 1 away. Now, how about the future of this Arkansas staff with Storms only a sophomore? Half is a freshman doing what she's done, and we've got a sophomore out here, although from the looks of that swing, Madison Perrigan not intimidating at all.
Yeah, Madison Perrigan in that at bat had 1 swing, and that was the one that she got that hit off of. She did a lot of watching with the 3-2 count and came up big for the Shockers to keep this inning alive.
Asia Weber in now with runners at first and second. Wichita State left one at third in the last inning. Bailey Lang led off with a double, was sacrificed to third, but stranded there the rest of the way. See what they can do here with first and second and 1 away as Weber takes another one that counts 2 balls and no strikes. Autumn Storms from Temecula, California. 5'10", sophomore, right-handed pitcher. There's a strike that counts 2-1. So it has gotten brighter, but still every bit as windy here in Wichita today. As that one looked like she took something off, and a nice job by Storms to work the count back to even now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Opponents hitting .228 against Autumn Storms this season. They were hitting .101 against Mary Half, but Wichita State did get Half for a couple of hits today. Here's the 2-2. Bouncing ball, second. And they're going to try to turn 2 here. Nope, they're only going to get the one at second base, as Perrigan thrown out 4-6 on the force. No time to come back and try to get Weber for the double play. So she's on at first, having reached on the fielder's choice. Bingham's at third, 2 away now with Wichita State having runners at the corners. So we'll see what Bailey Nickerson can do. first. Wyndon Nickerson down low for a ball, 1-0.
You know, from behind the plate here, we definitely have a good view of the pitcher's movement. It looks like Storms is definitely coming in with some movement against these Shocker hitters. She's doing a great job spinning the ball, definitely keeping them off track. I mean, Perrigan coming up with a great hit, but so far, a lot of Shockers watching the pitches go by, kind of getting their groove against her, now having seen half. Trying to kind of get to know a new pitcher, and so far, she's kind of buckled their knees a few times. Definitely got some good movement from back here.
1 ball and 1 strike to count to Bailey Nickerson, who flied out to left back in the 2nd inning. She chops this one foul behind the plate. Arkansas probably has quite a bit of emphasis on this game, Jamie, because this is their final one before conference play starts for them. They've got Georgia this weekend. You always want to go into conference play with some momentum, and they're 16-1. I think even if they were to lose today, they can't feel terrible about themselves, but still, it's always better to go in on a win as this one trickles foul up the third baseline. Of course, this is the first of 2 scheduled games, but we don't know yet if we're going to have to because of the weather conditions and this 30-plus mile-an-hour wind and the cold. The coaches will decide after the game if we're going to play a second one or not. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Storms ready, delivers. And that one low and in.
Yeah, you got 2 teams here, Steve, that are receiving votes in both the NCAA poll, or the NFCA poll and the USA Today poll, both of which being standout programs looking just for wins and to be confident going into conference play, as you mentioned. So each of them have a lot on the line today.
Another one bounced foul over toward Coach Brett Benner, who does a little stomp with her foot and stops it. What does that say about 2 things? First of all, the reputation that Wichita State is starting to get on a national scene. And number 2, their schedule, that they could be 9-8 and still receiving votes.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at their schedule alone, you're talking about one of the toughest schedules in the history of the program. They are certainly doing big things and playing some big teams.
Busick over to first, and the side retired. Wichita State leaves another one over at third. This time, they've got one at first to go with that, so they're stranded at the corners. We go to the 5th, 1-0 Shockers on WSU TV. Okay. Hey, Greg.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
In the books from Wilkins Stadium, a good one today. Thought we'd see a pitcher's duel. We have. 1-0. Wichita State's got the lead. 7 hits in the game, 4 of them from Arkansas. Wichita State, Jamie, look at that. 3 errors, but none of them have come back to bite Wichita State yet. That's a bit fortunate for the Shockers.
Bailey Lang doing a good job. You know, like we mentioned before, she had a tough first inning, having runners all across the bases with walks and things like that, but certainly shutting down this really aggressive offense.
Speaking of, first pitch swinging here, and an out recorded for Wichita State is Crisco, a ground out victim to start the 5th inning. So a big first out considering Ashley Diaz steps in now. And boy, this Arkansas team wasting no time. Another one, this one to second. And Hecker is there for 3. Boy, Bailey Lang, Christy Bredbenner, Ryan Stefankowitz, they'll take that. 2 pitches, 2 outs. So now here's Allie Manzo as she first pitch swinging. She won't, as that one's a ball, 1-0. Of course, pitch count not nearly as important in softball, Jamie, but still, when you can keep it under 10 in an inning, that's got to build a little confidence. It could be a 4-pitch inning. It is. Grounded to short. Derrico helps retire the side. 4 pitches, 3 outs, and we've played 4.5. High fives for the team in black and white after a nice job that time by Lang. Shockers coming up, bottom of the 5th. They lead 1-0. Were both of those two 4-3?
Yep.
Moving right along, game 1 scheduled for 2 from Wilkins Stadium. Wichita State's got the lead as we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. And for the Shockers, it'll be Bailey Lang that'll get things started. Lang then back to the top of the order, Mckenzie Wright and Riley Buck. Lang takes one low and away for a strike, or excuse me, low and on the outside edge. 0-1, right at the knees, right on the corner. Autumn Storm's out to start the bottom of the 5th inning. She came on in relief in the last inning, relieving Mary Half. And an appeal there, and they say she did not go. Bailey Lang may have gotten a break right there. Lang led off the 3rd inning with a double, and she smokes this one to center field. This one's going to get down. It's going to roll to the fence. And for Bailey Lang, how about 2 doubles today? Both of them to lead off innings. Lang had 6 hits all season long, Jamie, and no doubles. Today, she's got 2 hits, both of them doubles. How about that?
Yeah, talk about her athleticism, her willingness to step up when it's necessary for her team. She knows that a 1-0 lead with her in the circle is an awesome opportunity for Wichita State, but why not tack on a few more? And if you can help your own cause as a pitcher who can do a little bit of hitting too, why not take it away when you can?
And she smoked both of those. Now to the top of the order, Mckenzie Wright. The problem for Wichita State was when Lang led off the 3rd inning with a double, she was stranded at 3rd with just 1 out. The batter up there now, Mckenzie Wright, did a good job, bunted her to 3rd, but the Shockers stranded Lang at 3rd base. Let's see if they can have better success here. 0-1 to Wright. And Mckenzie takes, it's 1-1. Lang's first double was a line drive that hooked into left center field and got to the wall. That one was smoked to pretty well straight away center field. 1-1. Storms to right. This one gets away from Archuleta behind the plate, and down to 3rd base goes Lang. So unlike the last time when Lang led off with a double, she's at 3rd base now with nobody out. There was 1 out when she got to 3rd a couple of innings ago. 2-1. And there's a strike. Storms needed that one. That was a wild pitch, by the way, that sends Lang to third base.
That's the first for Storms on the season, too. Certainly uncharacteristic of her letting a ball get by, especially in a big situation with a runner on second. So definitely going to try and catch her composure here, see if she can come back.
2-2. And that one just a bit tight. And the count's full. Bailey Lang at third with her double has evened the hit column for these two teams. They both have 4 hits. Wichita State's got the only run of the game, threatening for at least one more here. And Mckenzie Wright's going to send one to short. It won't happen here as Belands comes up throwing. And it's a 6-3 put out. Staying at third is Lang. So Riley Buck will step in now. Top of the order for Wichita State, Jamie, is struggling today. It's been that bottom part that's gotten things done. Lang with the 2 doubles. Madison Paragon out of the 6-hole with the home run. But Mackenzie Wright's now 0 for 2 with a sacrifice. This batter, Riley Buck, is 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Coach Brett Benner would like to see them good going. And, of course, we've talked so much about Paige Llewellyn starting the day well above 400 with the average, but she's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts.
Yep, even as good hitters, you're going to have off days. It's an inconsistent game at times. A lot of failure that takes place, and that's an unfortunate opportunity here. We'll try and see if they'll get it out.
Boy, she showed bunt there, then thrown out at third base is Lang. Riley Buck squared the bunt right there, and Lang came a good ways up the line, just about a third, maybe a half up the third baseline. And when Buck didn't make contact, Lang had to scramble back to the bag, and she was thrown out. And here it comes again on a costly opportunity for Wichita State.
Yeah, this is a huge missed opportunity. Ball away. Buck trying to put the ball down on the ground, and unfortunately that does strand Lang on an easy out play at third. So you can see the frustration in Coach Bredbender at third base. It's certainly a huge out for Arkansas.
So that's a big second out as the Shockers have wasted now 2 leadoff doubles by Bailey Lang, and there's a strike to Buck. And it looked like, maybe you can tell me better, I thought Coach Bredbender was actually yelling into the dugout at Lang with her frustration, or was that directed at Buck? As we'll talk about that after this timeout. A strikeout there. Shockers waste a golden opportunity. Bailey Lang at third with nobody out, gets thrown out after a failed bunt attempt. We go to the 6th. Shockers 1, Arkansas nothing on WSU TV.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
No, he doesn't.
Well, it's turned sunny here at Wilkins Stadium. Still chilly, still very windy. But Wichita State still has the lead, 1-0. Although, Jamie, it could have been better for the Shockers had they not poorly executed a bunt attempt with nobody out and a runner at third base. First things first, let's get to the Arkansas 6th. And here's A.J. Belands fouling one down the right side. But a tough break for Wichita State as they had Bailey Lang at third, and trying to get the bunt down was Riley Buck. Here it is again. And you pointed out this during the commercial break that maybe Lang got too far off the base as there's a strike, 0-2 at the plate to Belands. But Riley Buck, you said, probably needs to make contact with that pitch.
Yeah, unless that ball is over the head of Buck or of the catcher Archuleta, that you have to touch it at some point because you're going to strand Lang at third, who is on a full force run heading straight for home. So, you know, a squeeze play is not an easy opportunity for Buck in that situation, but it is something that at the end of the day, when you're looking at two players who are trying their best to get the run in, you got to make contact one way or the other to get her an opportunity.
Liner to first, snared by Riley Buck. That's 2 times Buck over at first base has had liners right her way. And first out to A.J. Belands here in the top of the 6th inning.
With that play, you know, Riley Buck's actually, speaking of her impact at Wichita State, she is currently sitting in the a number of the top 10 conference categories at first base, doing a great job with putouts and fielding the double play. So certainly somebody who has been an impact player for Wichita State and just had an untimely kind of misopportune situation happen for the Shockers on offense.
Pitch high and away to Cooper. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, the Shockers have had a couple of wasted opportunities, Jamie, particularly with Lang leading off with doubles in back-to-back at-bats for her. And Arkansas squandered a couple of early opportunities. So here the Shockers are, the top of the 6th inning now. Arkansas is running out of outs, and the Shockers still have the lead. You normally think, as the count's 2-1, 1-0 Wichita State, by the way. You don't see the score bug up there, so we'll try to keep you abreast of the score. It's 1-0 Shockers, top of the 6th. Usually when you waste opportunities and you give the other team opportunities like the Shockers have, good teams will capitalize, but to this point, Arkansas still scoreless here in the 6th inning as that one was fouled out of play.
Yeah, each of these teams are doing a good job, although you see a 3 in the error slot on the Shocker defensive side. You know, each team has done a good job of keeping the ball where they need to, making the plays when they need to. Archuleta coming up with a huge throw out of Buck in the last inning to save a run for them. So it's certainly an opportunity for both teams to stand out.
Look at the wind carry this one over near the first base dugout, but Buck has just enough real estate to make the catch. And Cooper is retired for the 2nd out of the inning. Boy, if we get a replay of that, in fact, from that angle right there, it would be perfect if we have it, because watch Riley Buck. She thought that was going to be at her in fair territory, and the wind blew that all the way over. There she is. Got a beat on it. Nope. All the way by the dugout before finally making the catch. So 2 outs here in the inning. Arkansas is going to go with a pinch hitter here in the top of the 6th, and it's going to be Lenny Malkin that'll step in, a freshman from Colorado who will step in. And she's going to bat for the catcher, Archuleta. So Malkin steps in. She's played plenty, hit .333 on the season, and the first pitch is a ball to her. 1 ball to no strikes. This is her 37th plate appearance of the season. She's picked up 12 hits. Takes a strike, 1-1. So 12 of 26 is Malkin, good for the .333 average. She's got some pop in her bat, 3 home runs. So 3 of her 12 hits are homers. 8 runs batted in as well as she sends this one over on the right side. It bounds off the backstop and back into the field of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, fun fact actually about Malkin as a freshman. She began her Razorback career with a home run in each of her first 2 at-bats. Now talk about making an adjustment from being in high school and the select ball opportunities and moving into being a Razorback.
What a pitch by Lang right there. Just absolutely froze Malkin, taking something off and retiring the side in order for the first, well, the 2nd time today for that matter, and that's now 7 in a row retired by Bailey Lang. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Shockers looking for insurance. They've got a 1-0 lead.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Wichita State clinging to a 1-0 lead, trying to add to that here is the Shockers now will send Lori and Derrico up to the plate with that 1-0 lead. Autumn Storms out there for Arkansas, second full inning of work. She came on in relief in the bottom of the 4th inning. And the first pitch to Derrico in there for a strike, 0-1. Derrico's been quiet today. As I mentioned earlier, much of the top part of the Wichita State lineup has been, as Lori sends this one foul down the left side. 0-2. Here's Santa Storms, and she might have almost looked like she pulled something or injured herself. This is during warm-ups. This is right before the inning started. 1-2. Nobody came out to take a look at her. Usually when a player reacts like that, Jamie, a trainer's right out of the dugout. Storms, though, did turn the other way. Maybe she wanted to hide it so nobody would see it. Didn't want to come out of the game. 1-2. Bouncing ball, third. That's going to be fair. And the throw to first is in time. Nice play, Busick. One away. So Derrico is now 0 for 3. Storms is still holding her left arm. Here it is again. Watch her grab her left upper arm right there. It's not her throwing hand though, and maybe that's the reason they've not paid much attention to it.
Yeah, as a pitcher, you do use your glove arm quite a bit for momentum, and you can see, the glove arm of a pitcher kind of moving around and doing some funky things. I don't know if she maybe just kind of had a twitch that happened there. She seems to be doing fine. Now, I think she's done a little bit of stretching and things in between pitches, but so far, still looking to have her stuff.
2 balls and no strikes. The count to Paige Llewellyn, a rare quiet day for her. In fact, 2 strikeouts for Llewellyn, both of them swinging. Takes a strike here, and it's 2-1. Start of the day did Llewellyn at .417 with the batting average. Two balls and a strike, and the pitch to Llewellyn is taken, and that one misses. 3-1. One nothing Wichita State, bottom of the 6th inning. Again, due to some technical issues, we're not able to give you the score bug. So each team with 4 hits. Wichita State's got the only run of the game. A Madison Perrigan, 2nd inning, homer to center field. Hot shot, one hopper. Nicely done by Storms. Boy, we talked about Mckenzie Wright's quick reflexes at third base. How about a pitcher off a pretty well struck one hopper right there, right back at her, and she reacted well.
Yeah, and with the glove arm that we were thinking maybe there might be a tiny snag or injury occurring at that time with that arm, and then she goes up with a nice grab. So if anything, she's gotten all of that out of her system, it seems.
Here's Caitlin Bingham taking the first pitch for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Bingham struck out in the 2nd inning, but reached in the 4th. And she takes and is ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. Nobody on 2 outs. The wind is really howling out in left field. That flag is blowing maybe as hard as it's blown all day. So while maybe it looks like it's starting to warm up, the clouds have at least parted. The wind is still really, really whipping. There's the flag. Out and left is a pitch is taken for a strike, and it's 3-1. Madison Perrigan, I mentioned her, the only run of the game, the homer in the second. She waits on deck. Here comes the pitch. A little bouncer back towards Storms. She'll field and toss across in time for a 1-3 putout. She had 2 of those in the inning and retires the side in order. We go to the 7th. Arkansas needs 1 to tie, 2 to send it. Well, 1 to tie and 2 would also send it to the bottom of the 7th inning. They trail the Shockers 1-0 on WSU TV.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Wichita State's got the lead, 1-0 as we go to the 7th inning. What a job today by Bailey Lang. Can the Shockers get one more inning out of the junior? And she's going to look at Heidi Bugarin to start the inning. And the first pitch to Bugarin is a strike, 0-1. Each team with 4 hits, but Wichita State's got the only hit that produced a run. A solo homer for Madison Perrigan in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Shockers leading 1-0. This one is poked to Llewellyn, who started in, moves back and makes the catch. And there's a big first out of the inning to a good number 9 hitter in the Arkansas lineup, but Heidi Bugarin flies out to right.
It's a huge play by Paige Llewellyn with the wind fighting you, the sun fighting you. Some good power and a 9-hole in Bugarin. So awesome job to get that first out in right field for Paige.
Now Autumn Busick in. Swinging and a miss for a strike. Boy, Bailey Lang has shown me something here today, Jamie. To start this game off the way that she did, had them loaded in the first inning with nobody out. 2 of the 3 base runners reached via a walk. This one is chopped foul. Got out of that inning by retiring the side in order after that. And then in the 2nd inning, Arkansas had runners at 1st and 2nd with nobody out. Actually 2nd and 3rd eventually, but they couldn't score in the 2nd either.
She's been incredible. I mean, certainly a pitcher that might make a few mistakes here and there with a hit by pitch earlier today, a little bit of wildness with some walks, but she comes back and just like that has some awesome opportunities for some big strikeouts, some big time plays for her defense, and honestly, even at the plate, she's done a great job today. So all around, definitely an asset to this Shocker team, especially for this game.
And she really fooled Busick right here. Watch, Busick just didn't know what to do with this one. Way up about chin high, but Busick goes down, and now a one-hopper to first. That'll do it. Riley Buck steps on the bag, and Arkansas, who was 16-1 coming into the game, has lost their 2nd of the season as all on a heck of a job by Bailey Lang. Madison Perrigan, the only hit of the game that produced a run, a 2nd inning solo homer, and Wichita State has come away with a 1-0 victory here in their home opener at Wilkins Stadium. Final numbers: Shockers a run on 4 hits, 3 errors. Arkansas, no runs, 4 hits, and an error. Here's the final out of the game. Now the question is, will there be a game number 2? And the coaches are discussing that now, and they have just called it off. So the coaches have decided no game 2, and Wichita State is going to win this one, the only one now, over Arkansas. Jamie, again, what a job by Bailey Lang. Let's talk about her, especially how the way this one started.
Yeah, Bailey Lang held her composure the entire game. Like we mentioned, she had some times when she was ineffective. She had some walks, some hit by a pitch, but she turned it around. She had innings that were quick for her defense, and with the wind and the weather today, the defense has to appreciate her fast work on the mound and putting away a really strong offense from Arkansas. You know, Wichita State now with a 3-0 record against Arkansas here at Wilkins Stadium, so an opportunity that has certainly proven true to continue a great opportunity for Wichita State this season.
Shockers get the win. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Welcome back to Wilkins Stadium. Christy Bredbenner, a happy Christy Bredbenner and her team talk about a shocker 1-0 victory that gives Wichita State their 10th win of the season against 8 losses. Arkansas is now 16-2 on the year as the Shockers win what ends up being just the one game against Arkansas. They have called the second game off due to the wind and the cold weather here, so the Shockers get the win. And Jamie Hull, this team showed me something again today. Bailey Lang showed me something in particular early to escape potential trouble and then really settle into a nice groove. And the Shockers had their chances, but that Madison Paragon homer turned out to be just enough.
Yeah, and we talked about Madison Paragon's at bat at that time. You know, she had a 3-2 count, had watched every single ball go by, and her one swing was a big one. I mean, it totally changed the atmosphere of this game for the Shockers. The second inning, here it comes, straight down the middle, all the way past the wall, and you can just see the Shockers excited for her and totally changing the momentum for this Wichita State offense.
And let's not forget that was also the second loss, or the first loss of the season, by the way, for the outstanding pitcher for Arkansas, who had not lost a game all season, Mary Half. She was 9-0 on the year, had struck out 90 coming into the game, and that's who the home run for Paragon was off of, one of the best in the country. What an impressive win for Wichita State. All right, Jamie, it was fun. We'll see you this weekend.
It was.
All right, for Jamie, I'm Steve. We'll talk to you this Saturday as the Shockers will do it again. Missouri State and Western Illinois, the opponents. We'll talk to you then.